Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Vintage Guitar Legacies. I'm your host, Sarah James. Today, we are at In Stuff Music in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, featuring a 1947 L-7 Archtop. Let's dig into it. What we have here is a real treasure. The Gibson L-7 is an archtop guitar characterized by its carved top and its back, which create a unique, full-bodied tone. Introduced in 1932 as a mid-level but professional quality instrument, the Gibson L-7 was a full-size 17-inch archtop guitar and was immediately popular with jazz guitarists due to its ability to cut through the loud brass and woodwind sections of the big band era before guitar amps became commonly available. The L-7's design provided the necessary volume and clarity, bringing a sweetness and a gorgeous overtone. The L-7 features a carved spruce top, a maple back and sides, and a beautiful bound Brazilian rosewood fingerboard with mother-of-pearl block inlays. Its 17-inch wide body and F-holes contributed to its powerful acoustic projection. The guitar also sported a beautiful sunburst finish in some models, which not only added to its visual appeal, but also became a hallmark of Gibson's high-end models. One of the key features associated with the Gibson L-7 is jazz guitarist Eddie Lang, often considered the father of jazz guitar. George Harrison even once stated that Eddie Lang was one of his favorite guitarists and influenced his work. Lang's use of the L4 and L5 archtops in the early 20th century helped establish their role in jazz music, and the L7 continues this tradition. The guitar's warm, rich tones made it ideal for both rhythm and lead playing, allowing it to adapt to various jazz styles. The L7 remains a sought-after instrument for collectors and musicians alike, symbolizing a golden era of American guitar craftsmanship, and this 1947 model truly is no exception. Jim, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's really nice to meet you, and the demo was fantastic. I mean, I could just hear that big band behind there and some of the finer stuff you were doing. That you made that thing really sound great. I really enjoyed hearing it. No amp, no nothing, pure sound.
Yeah, I mean, the guitar is doing a lot of the work. I mean, the projection it has, in the room, it's hard, might not translate through a microphone, but when you're in the room, the volume of these guitars, you think, not being a traditional acoustic guitar with a sound hole in the middle. I mean, even with these F-holes, I mean, the thing really has a lot of throw, a lot of mid-range, because like you were saying, it was, these guitars are made at the height of the big band era. They were made to get above a band without amplification.
I was looking at the floating fretboard. It's just not even attached to the top, just to give it enough space to vibrate. And,
and the
pickguard, I actually didn't notice until looking at it through the lights. It's translucent. I always thought it was solid, but it's just a beautifully made instrument.
Yeah, I think these were all, most archtops I think were all hand carved. I mean, nothing is attached to the top. The pickguard is attached to the side here and to the side of the neck. The bridge is floating. It's not glued down. The trapezoid tailpiece is above, so really it rings. Plus, this guitar is extremely old and very dried out. Ring is like a bell. It's been hanging
at the store here at In Stuff Music for a long time.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guitar many, many, many years in a case, but I've never actually pulled it out and tried to wrestle with it. But the way that this guitar is made and the quality of the workmanship and how easy it plays. I mean, even with, I think these are probably 12 flat wounds on here, this guitar is not hard to play at all. You know, the action's great on it. It doesn't, you know, have any buzz. I mean, the frets are small.
Yeah, they are.
Compared to like modern frets, because people weren't playing guitar in that way. You know, I mean, you're not going to be bending on this thing.
That came later, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't see it on the camera, on the back.
Yeah. It's almost like a flame maple. It's beautiful.
With the accent here. Light as a feather, too.
It is. That's what I noticed, too. I picked it up and said, my gosh, there's no heft to it at all.
There's no center block.
Compared to a Les Paul, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, depending on what kind of Les Paul you get, they can get quite heavy. It's, you know, it's totally hollow. Plus, you know, there's no moisture left in it. So it's beautiful.
So, Jim, I was reading that this was really precursor to the Gibson Jazz Box as we know it now. And as they developed over time, then they went to the cutaway. I think this is the last year that the last model that did not have the cutaway in it. When you play this, and you've played many other Gibson jazz boxes, how have you seen the development over time?
You know, I mean, you can get up pretty high and fret maybe up to the 15th fret on this guitar, you know, intonates quite well. I mean, accessing the top frets, you can do it. I mean, this neck's a little shorter, so if you get a good angle on it, you can do it. I mean, obviously, it's not nearly as fluid as it would be with a cutaway. Of course, the guitar has kind of evolved. I think that, you know, they'd have the floating single pickup, right? And then if you think about, like, you know, an L5 or something like Wes Montgomery would play, they had a cutaway, and then, you know, humbucker, then the two humbuckers, you know, things like the Birdland. And those guitars, you know, you can play rock and roll on those guitars, you know, and they sound great for that. And they're really resonant and big. You know, of course, the challenge with these guitars once they became amplified is feedback. I mean, you can't get a lot of volume with these, and they will really howl. I mean, you can hear like old bootlegs of Charlie Christian playing in bars and things, and it's just like, you know, when he hits the low strings sometimes. And I would struggle with that, you know, a lot too when I would play a jazz guitar, is that, you know, you always have to make sure you're facing away from the amp and
What were your early jazz influences?
Well, I mean, you know, I play a lot of different styles of music. You know, I wouldn't say that, you know, I am just I understand jazz and I know how to play it. Just as a guitar player, you know, when I was just starting out playing the guitar, my high school band director, I was like, I want to play jazz. And he gave me a real book, and he gave me the Wes Montgomery Riverside recordings, which was like all the organ trio stuff that Wes did early on in his career. And he was like, all right, go learn this stuff. And I didn't, you know, I listened to blues, I listened to a lot of classic rock, you know, I was a child of the 90s, so most of my early rock stuff was all the Seattle stuff, but I was like, man, I was really drawn to it, you know, like Wes's version of Round Midnight, which is a very iconic piece of music. I was like, man, this is amazing, you know?
Well, I think that just came alive in your hands. It was great to hear. You can,
thank you.
You see a guitar like this, and you think, man, it's got some history.
Oh, for sure.
Listen to those old recordings, you just hear it, it just takes you away.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I think that there's a very human quality to it. You know, I mean, when you have just an acoustic instrument, or even, you know, when you just plug straight into the amplifier, it's so much about you and your hands.
Yeah.
And this is a time before we had a lot of technology and music. And I'm not saying it's good, bad, or otherwise. I'm just saying that there was a human intimacy to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can hear people, I'm sure it's on the recording, like you can hear me moving, you know, and breathing, you know, you can hear the hands on the strings. And it's very personal. You could give this guitar to 10 different people and they'd all sound
completely different.
Wildly different.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that speaks to my taste quite a bit.
I want to thank you, Jim. Again, thanks for being here. How can we find you?
Mostly just through my website, which is jamesgraffguitar.com. And I also do a lot of YouTube demo work for And Stuff Music.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So thank you, Jim Graff, for joining us today, as well as And Stuff Music. Be sure to follow them on all of their social platforms, as well as their YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe for more episodes. We will see you next time on another episode of Vintage Guitar Legacies.